Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Super Cup PSG versus Tottenham live watch along. I hope you're all doing very well. I don't remember how many Super Cup watch alongs I've actually done over the years, but I'll explain why I want to do this one. Two reasons. One, I really like PSG, and two, I'm really intrigued to watch Tottenham under Thomas Frank. So yeah, join me if you want, but I like football and I like to educate myself. And also, just a big shout out to the football hipsters. Really excited to see this lad that Leipzig have bought from the Turkish league. Scored a hat-trick against, I think it was it Besiktas last season? But he's Brazilian. Romelu is his name. Replaced Sesko at Leipzig, and they brought him in from the Portuguese league. Scored a ridiculous amount of goals last season, and looks like a player to watch out for again. I think he's 23, so just remember the name, Romelu. He's Brazilian. He's coming in from the Turkish league with a ridiculously good goal-scoring record, and he's coming into Leipzig to replace Sesko. So remember the name. I didn't know much about him, I must be honest. I remember there was a player they were talking about in the Turkish league last year, but I don't take any bloody notice. But it just flashed up today that Leipzig were signing him. And I'm always intrigued by teams like Leipzig when they buy replacements. So he'd probably be going for 80 million to Man United in a couple of years. Yeah. Okay, right, we are live and we are ready for this game. First of all, let me talk to you about what the lineups are. You can see the Tottenham lineup on your screen. Remember, in 48 hours, you little shits, we will be live for Bournemouth against Liverpool at Anfield. The Premier League starts in 48 hours. That's got to be worth a like. I mean, come on, it's back and we're ready to go. I'm ready for it now. None of that Club World Cup pretending you want to watch it. This is real. This is real. So the Super Cup is between the Europa League winner and the Champions League winner. Chevalier in goal for PSG is the big thing. Obviously, Donnarumma has been left out. They're booting him out. So Chevalier was at Lille. Hipster's choice. Good goalkeeper. Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho, Nuno Mendes. Vitinha, Zaire-Emery and Doué. And Barcola, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. There is no Neves. There is no... I'm trying to think who's... Ruiz and Neves not in the team and not on the... Oh no, Fabian Ruiz is on the bench. João Neves is not on the bench. Obviously, it's still pre-season. I don't know whether he's got an injury or something. But Dembele, Barcola, Doué and Kvaratskhelia all in the starting lineup. Could be ominous for Spurs, but this is the new Tottenham. This is the new Tottenham under Thomas Frank. Basuma left out because he's been late for training. What a twat. I mean, who is late for training for their new manager multiple times? Thomas Frank deserves this chance. Now, I loved Ange. He was brilliant I've done it again. He was brilliant for the, end of the day, you prick. He was good for that, but you know what? I thought he did a good job for them as well. So give him his flowers. But this is the Frank era. And to be frank, his team is Vicario, Porro, Romero, Danzo, Van der Ven. Van der Ven playing at left back, apparently. Palhinha, who I'd forgotten they'd brought in from Bayern, Bentancur and Sarr. And then Kudos, Richarlison and Spence. Is that a back five? Why would Spence be left back and Van der Ven... Sorry, why would Van der Ven be left back and Spence left wing? Well, we'll watch that with interest. The bench, Bergvall is back. I think he's on the bench. Obviously, he missed the final with injury. Kulusevski is not back yet. Maddison got himself injured again. Brennan Johnson on the bench. Solanke on the bench. Tell on the bench. So it's not a bad squad for Spurs, if we're being completely honest. It's not a bad squad at all. Thank you everyone who's tuning in. Please do share the video and get involved. Sent a gifted a membership. It's me. Thank you very much for that. Hometown club seen promoted, relegated, FA Cup runs the lot. But United fan from my dad's season ticket holder. Who do I support in the League Cup? Who did Man United get in the Carabao Cup? I completely forgot. Alan Noonan, thank you very much for your super chat. I didn't. We had a 7 o'clock show tonight on the United stand because I took Seb to training at 6, so I got Terry to do the 7 o'clock show, and then I did this. So got Grimsby away. It's nice. Grimsby's a nice part of the world. do lovely fish and chips. Got no idea where it is. I'm saying Grimsby is sort of Norfolk way. Alan Partridge from the Oast House. Alan Partridge from the Oast House. From the Oast House. With Alan Partridge. It's not... I was not wrong. Oh no, I was wrong. It's nowhere near Norwich. It's near Hull. It is on the east coast, but it's Lincoln. It's near Scunthorpe and Hull. Grimsby. I've never been. It's a neglected part of the UK. Skegness, Lincoln, Grimsby, Scunthorpe. It's flat in more ways than one. But it's League 2. There we go. Man United are in the Carabao Cup draw because they're crap. Someone said, why Man United in the Carabao Cup and not Liverpool? Because we finished in the bottom half of the table, so we start around early. That's what you get for being shit. It's magic. That's what happens. Okay, let me get that done. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. So it's the Super Cup. It's between the mighty PSG and Spurs. Let's be honest, there was a backdoor entry to the Champions League that Spurs took by winning the Europa League. It also lets them into the Super Cup as well. But it is also interesting if you're a Premier League fan like me and we on this channel to get a first look at Tottenham under Thomas Frank in a competitive game. Remember, Tottenham's first Premier League game takes place I think they must be playing on Sunday. They can't be playing on Saturday. They are playing on Saturday. My God, they're playing on Saturday. 3 o'clock against Burnley. Bloody hell, that's a quick turnaround for them. You've been done there, Spurs. So I would have thought because you're playing a Super League game on a Wednesday, you would not be playing on Saturday, but you are playing on Saturday. You're playing on Saturday, Tottenham. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Well, okay, we're ready to go here. And the referee kicks it off. Not literally, that would be hideous. Somebody just said, where is this game? It's at the UEFA Super Cup in the Blue Nergy Stadium, which, if I refer... That's surely not how you pronounce it. It's in Italy, and it's the home of Serie A club. Bet you won't know this. Udinese. Udinese. There we go. Education, that's what it's all about. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in on Twitch as well. I do look at the Twitch chats. It's easier to look at because it's not as busy. So it's easy to do both. And I'm going to get something where I can merge the two. But you're very welcome, MD Finch and Dino. Does this count as a real trophy if Spurs win, says Christopher? I genuinely do think that the Super Cup is a trophy because it's although it's an exhibition, I might offend a few people here, but I would say that the Super Cup is on a different level to the Community Shield. I mean, it's the Champions League winners against the Europa League winners. We disrespect it in England because we don't normally play in it, but it actually is a decent game. It's definitely better than the Community Shield, says Leper Messiah. It is. So it's a good opportunity. We're in Italy, aren't we, says Philip? We are. If you are watching on Twitch, by the way, you're very, very welcome. If you want to get a subscriber next to your name, which is a star, then if you've got Amazon Prime, you can click and subscribe for free with the link that is pinned at the top. I mean, you can subscribe normally anyway. You can give subscriptions, but... you can also subscribe for free. A lot of people saying on Twitch that the quality of the stream is better. I can neither deny or not because I don't watch the stream. I am the stream. It's in England. It's not in England, you prat, Billy. Do you think Spurs will be able to hang with PSG? Well, look, we're up and running here. I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm very excited about the start to the season, and I hope that we get a good game. I hope we get a good game because Spurs, to me, are the unknown quantity of the Premier League. They are massively underrated and nobody is really talking about them. But a new manager with a system that did so fantastically well with a team like Brentford is like a new signing anyway. But you've also added Kudos and Palhinha into your midfield. Last season, Spurs were an entertaining side to watch, but it didn't work. You know, they lost a lot of games. Thomas Frank, is this too high for him? I mean, this is the guy that can win games with 30% possession. They should have scored there, but it's cleared away by PSG. I'm intrigued to look at the system. Is Jed Spence a winger, or are they playing a back five? Because Van der Ven's on the pitch, Danzo's on the pitch, Romero's on the pitch, Porro's on the pitch. So, talk to me. Thomas Frank, is he a back four guy, or is he a back five guy? Folks and Clum, thanks for subscribing. Legends, appreciate it. Palmarius says, I used to watch you a lot on YouTube, but I prefer watching on Twitch. Glad you're back. I will be playing a bit of FIFA again. Seb is actually playing FC26 at the moment. He's really got into Ultimate Team, which I don't think's great when you're under 10, but he really likes it. Lovely play, lovely feet by Dembele. Has he overhit that ball? No, but Spence covers him well. UFC 319 and Premier League back this weekend. I'm buzzing, says 1 Inch Wonder. 5 million euros if you win, says Who to Blame. Why is it always about money? Why is it always about the money? It's all about Jessie J. Do you think Jessie J likes the fact that one of her songs is just absolutely associated with Jet2 holidays? I mean, it's not all about the money I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I'm ready for this. Jet2 holidays. That's the problem when you sell out. You've got to be very careful. No, it's not Jessie J. That's Jess Glynn. That shows you what I'm all about. Pig Teats 11. Thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. He played both at Mark at Brentford, says Cato. When can you stream FC26? You can't. They'll take it off me. When you get it, it's all there to tick. I will not stream this. I will not send any clips. You know, I will not pass go. And I tell you what, I like FIFA and EAFC 26. Even though it annoys me, I still keep coming back. Tariq says he's genuinely excited about Frank. Well, Chelsea did a job on PSG. So, Spalzo, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. I do like it so far, Rallo. I mean, I must admit, every FIFA or EAFC game I play, they all feel strikingly similar, but they're obviously not. Could this potentially be the most exciting season in a while due to the talent has been brought into the Premier League and other transfers within the Premier League? Well, I think the Premier League has decimated so many leagues this season. I mean, the Bundesliga has lost a few, hasn't it? Frimpong, Wirtz, Shesko, Ekatike. There is more. Xavi Simons is probably going to go to Chelsea. The French league has lost a few as well. So we have cleaned up, really. It's almost getting to the point where the other European leagues, bar Barcelona and Real Madrid, are becoming feeder leagues to the Premier League, aren't they? Maybe Bayern Munich as well. Guessing you won't be playing 3 at the back in your career mode, says Rallo. Never! Never! I will always play a back 4. Yeah, it's in my DNA. DNA. Would you recommend your secret lab chair to others, says Janny? It's been a very good chair for me. I've actually got a new one. I've got a new chair and a new laptop, which I will be unveiling very, very soon. But this has been a good chair. Not going to lie. Lovely ball into the feet there of, I think that's Doué, isn't it? And goes out for a throw-in. Yeah, big test here for Spurs. Can they live with them? They have changed the lineup for Spurs. It's definitely a back 5, as I predicted. No, Doué's number 14, Mark. That wasn't Doué. Apologies. It was Zaire Emery. Nice to see Zaire Emery playing, actually, because most of last season when I watched PSG, he didn't play, but he's a fantastic talent. Really good player. I don't know how old he is now, but 33. Keep an eye on him. Here he is. Oh, that should be a goal. Ah, he got it into the feet of Kvaratskhelia, but he just couldn't quite twist and turn. So, yes, Spurs are playing a back five. Porro and Spence, the wing-backs. Van der Ven, Romero and Danzo, the defenders. With Sarr, Bentancur, Paulinho in a midfield three. And then Kudos and Richarlison as a front three. I mean, everything is shiny and new when it's shiny and new, you know? And what I'm trying to say there is, look, Spurs fans quite rightly are going to give Thomas Frank a good, I nearly said seeing to, a good bit of patience, but also they're going to demand, you know, they won't put up with crap football. You know, Ange, you say what you like, say what you bloody like about me, but, you know, the football was good, mate. You know, they might have scored 4, but we'd score 3. So, yeah, they won't put up with boring football at Spurs. Torridis and DTM1230, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. Ren says, good to see you. I remember you from back when I was a young lad. I just remember fondly my Sneak Energy days and the 2 o'clock in the morning streams playing through GTA. I don't know why I chose to do that, but it was a good laugh. It was. Got an injury here to Spurs. Looks like Paulinho got one in the head. Goldio says, what's your thoughts on Big Meek saying Rashford is too selfless, always looking for the pass? Must be opposite day, surely. I like Mika. I don't actually... I mean, look, there is a couple of ex-players I can't stick, but it's not who you think it is. I mean, I don't dislike Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher or Mika or anyone like that, but they put opinions into the public and we are therefore allowed to respond to them. And if Mika Richards has said that Marcus Rashford is too selfish, always looking for the pass, then that's just evidence that an ex-player gets paid to watch games that he doesn't watch. Because Marcus Rashford, like Garnacho and Anthony, is not selfless. The big problem was head down and shoot. So Jim, Garnacho, pee off, Shampers, says Nathan. Garnacho, piss off, Shampers. At the end of the day, Garnacho can piss off. Get the Shampers out. How will other leagues overtake the Premier League? What will the EPL do that will kill itself as the dominant league, says TK. What a question. Feisty one. Eddie Mentium, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime. Appreciate that. Remember, you can do that for free if you're on Twitch through the link in there. I don't think the Premier League can be toppled, which is why I think the Super League was invented. The La Liga messed up. Like, Serie A and La Liga messed up. Because in my lifetime, I've seen La Liga be the best league in the world, and I've seen the Italian league be the best league in the world. I can't remember what did the Italian league, and it might have been corruption. But oh, here we go. Kudos down the right-hand side. Mendes just gets back on him, though, and he has to come backwards. But La Liga definitely ruined its chance of being the dominant force in world football because Bayern Munich and Real Madrid didn't distribute the money fairly. The Premier League distributed the money fairly, created a brand that was entertaining, and it's the proof in the pudding, isn't it? Like, I think Real Madrid and Barcelona are the 2 biggest clubs in the world, but La Liga's not. Barcelona and Real Madrid compete for the La Liga every year, but it's not the best league because they didn't distribute the money, so nobody can compete with them. Whereas in the Premier League, if you look at the last sort of 10 years, Chelsea have won the league, Liverpool have won the league, Man City have won the league, Leicester have won the league, Arsenal possibly a little bit unlucky not to have won the league, Manchester United won it in 2000 and was it 12 or 13? So yeah, we've created a sustainable product that is competitive. Now, I don't think Real Madrid and PSG and Barcelona are suddenly going to go, we'd like to have a Premier League. Let's start sharing the wealth. So, Richarlison is so shit, says Vabath. Leper Messiah 11, thanks for subscribing with Prime. 23 MUFCs on holiday in Turkey. I love it when people are on holiday. I like to envisage that you're in a lovely pub or bar. The sun's going down. You can see the beach. It's nice and cool. You're sipping on a cold lager with me on the table. And I'm not talking about on the phone. I'm talking about me dancing to Mamma Mia. We're in Greece. Guehi's going to stay at Crystal Palace. That is a surprise. I'm just trying to see if that is actually true. Apparently I've earned a hype chest. Who's the diva emoji? Okay. There we go. I need to learn about all that. Here's Richarlison on the break again. He's lost the ball again. He's shit, isn't he? I mean, come on. Oh, has he won a free kick? No, he's offside. So, it's from Sky. Take it with a pinch of salt. So Sky is saying that Mark Guehi is likely to stay at Crystal Palace and leave on a free transfer next summer. Liverpool have held talks about signing Guehi, but at the moment there is a gap in the valuation. I think that's the problem, isn't it? And you know what? There is an element of... oh, lovely breakaway here. Barcola down the left-hand side. A good tackle. Good tackle by... I think that was Sarr. Yeah, it was Sarr. And then Danzo cleans up. Really good tackle, that. Yeah, I think with Guehi, he's obviously out of contract in a year's time. He wants to move from Palace, but Palace want a lot of money. I'll tell you now for free. I've played the game. Guehi doesn't stay at Palace. That's just the posturing. He won't be staying at Palace. Sky have swallowed it there because he won't be staying at Palace. Because if he's putting it out there that he's going to run his contract down, then Palace are going to go, okay, he's a centre-back. We're going to get nothing for him in a year. Let's take 40 million. Because they probably want 50. So that's what will happen with that. It's just posturing. If it was Mateta, you might go, we can't replace him. He's a striker. It's 20 goals. Let's keep him. But with Guehi being a centre-back, they've also been linked to people like Diamonde from Sporting. So I think that will end up with him leaving, to be honest. But an interesting update. Is Aguero a top 5 Premier League striker of all time, says Larry. How have Spurs done? Spurs are doing okay. They're definitely showing respect to PSG, but they are trying to be pressing as well. Well, when somebody says to me, is such and such a top 5 Premier League striker of all time, the thing I do is I name my top 5 Premier League strikers of all time. So I would say Alan Shearer, Thierry Henry, I'm allowed to put Wayne Rooney in there, aren't I? Yes, you are. Would you put Erling Haaland in there yet? Would you put Erling Haaland in there yet? Would you put... I'd put Ruud van Nistelrooy in there. Harry Kane. So, Drogba. So, for me, it's a no. Because, I mean, you could even start talking about people like Cantona and Bergkamp and people like that on ability. So, I think some people would put him in the top 5. But for me, I've already named more. Ronaldo was a winger for me in the Premier League. I don't class him as a striker. I wouldn't put Gabriel Jesus in there, Julie. Julie, you've had a bloody nightmare there, Julie. Just because it begins with a J, Julie thinks Jesus. Oh, he's got a J in his name. No. Andy Cole. I think Andy Cole is worth a shout. I was thinking about Andy Cole. Prolific at Newcastle and Manchester United. What about Jamie Vardy? Yeah. Somebody just said Van Nistelrooy. Are you serious? I mean, just because you were up your mum's chuff doesn't mean it didn't happen. Flicked header by Van der Ven, but that's gone over for a goal kick. Mark, I'm not bitter, but God, I hope PSG wins, is Rob Always United. Any chance of you becoming a Spurs channel, says Story Time? You've got expressions. Is Aguero had a chuckle today on FC25 signing Belieber for 25 million, says 1 Inch Wonder. Where do you see Ange going next? Well, at the end of the day, you know, it's a good, it's a good question, mate. You know, at the end of the day, I always win a trophy in the second year. So I'm looking at clubs that, fallen on hard times and, haven't won a trophy for a couple of years. So, given another year, Real Madrid. Yeah, Where do you see Ange going next? If you were a promoted team, would you buy Bethuma, says Who to Blame? I wouldn't buy any player that's a lazy shit, basically. I don't buy bad... I act like I'm a Premier League manager. I don't buy bad attitude players. You don't buy anyone because you're not a manager. I wouldn't go near Basuma. Good player, but clearly attitude issues. And at his age, I'd wonder if he's going to move past those. The thing about Garnacho is he's 21. Basuma's 28, turning up late for training. Somebody told me he was a prat as well. They said it. It was something to do with the Europa League final. Somebody said he was a prat. I can't remember who it was. Another shot from Spurs there. Lee Chapman. God, can you remember Lee Chapman up front for Spurs? Leeds. If you're on Twitch, can you just put a comment in? Because Swanee's last comment has been the last one for ages. What happened to playing TUSFC career mode? And that's the last one I've seen for a while. So let me know. Appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, then please do subscribe to the channel. Oh, thank you. People are there. Salty Dog, Palmarius, Goatbridge, says Ali. Appreciate it. Somebody just said Indicator News has broken that Giovanni Leone is joining Liverpool for 26 million initial fee plus add-ons, medical needed. That was out at 8:16. I'm dubious about this Indicator stuff. I mean, the Belieber thing was interesting, but I genuinely think that account is just run by somebody that's got all notifications on, because where was it? I've just been sent this. 8:15, thetimes.com put exactly the same story out. 8:16, Indicator puts a tweet out and claims it as an exclusive. The Belieber thing was impressive, but I think sometimes their exclusives are taken from other people. Let me come back here. So still 0-0. 22 minutes gone. Here's Kudos. Richarlison's run's not a bad one. Oh, and he gets the shot off, and Chevalier tips it over the bar. I say he gets the shot off. He wasn't in the box. It was from outside the box, but it was a good breakaway. Good early chemistry there between Kudus and Richarlison, and clearly already we're starting to see the Thomas Frank counter-attacking system working quite well. Let's have a look at the FPL team. I haven't even done it yet. I haven't done it yet. PZ says oil up if the game when the game ends. There's people, weird people asking about me oiling up. I don't know what it's all about. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, we're on the road to 380,000. Thank you very much for getting involved. Header over the bar, Bentancur. Lukinko says, why don't PSG want Donnarumma anymore? Because Donnarumma's clearly tried to either run his contract down or ask for stupid money, and fair play to a football club saying, we think we can go and get somebody better than you. I read something today, I think it was Julien Lorenz, the French journalist, saying it's really weird how Pep Guardiola wants Donnarumma when he's not very good at crosses, which is something very big in the Premier League, and he's not very good with the ball at his feet. Tell us your thoughts. But that was an encouraging move for. Why are they having a drinks break? Right. The weather in Italy is 31 degrees. Okay, fine. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. Do you think Seshko will play on Sunday, Mark? Says D13. I think so, yeah. I think he will. I think he will. But yeah, encouraging signs for Spurs that that breakaway between Kudus and Richarlison was really good. And obviously, we've seen this many a time at Brentford. They were very, very good at it. The original gangsters, really. Good morning, Mark. Will you make an FPL league? Donnarumma agent said he was willing to drop his wage to stay. Well, he would say that. Luke Cottrell. Ronan says both teams look hungover. Can you say happy birthday to my son Stephen, says Grace. Happy birthday to Stephen. Hope you have a great day, mate. Goldbridge for a knighthood. Get a poll-up, says Rex. What is the end goal for the Saudi Pro League, says TK. Well, over the next 4 years, it's the World Cup, 5 years. So the spending won't stop. You can guarantee that the Saudi League is going to keep buying players for the next 6 years. Idea for a poll. Which rivalry was better? Chelsea versus Man United 04 until 2010 or Klopp's Liverpool versus Pep Man City? Says Strictly CFC. Well, it'd be very difficult because a lot of people will... hold on a minute. Yeah, Strictly CFC. The Chelsea versus Man United rivalry a lot of people would have been up their mum's chuff for that. So the best rivalry in the Premier League was Man United Arsenal. And remember, I've lived it. It's a busy time, people. I'm getting messages from people, journalists, etc. That's a lovely little breakaway ball. Down the left-hand side. Can he cut it back? Good defending by Sarr again. He's having a good game, Sarr. After Patrick Bamford, who is the next to get the sack, says Mr. Polford. Well, you know what? People laugh, but there is a scenario where Patrick Bamford ends up being a player manager. And with Calvert-Lewin, I mean, you know, it's not looking good, bro. I'm very grateful to Leeds for signing Calvert-Lewin, by the way. That was a rumour that I just did not like with United. I'll tell you what, the amount of people who've seen that Patrick Bamford clip is hilarious. And the amount of people that have taken it seriously is even more funny. They just don't get my content, basically. Fabrizio, here we go. It won't be what I want. It's not going to be the one I want, is it? I'll tell you what I want. I want Belieber. That's what I want. I want a really... I bet it's Leone. I bet it's Leone to Liverpool. Yeah. Giovanni Leone to Liverpool. Here we go. Deal agreed with Palmer. No loan, never discussed. Leone joins Liverpool as part of Arne Slot plans. Fee around 35 million euros with a sell-on clause. No convincing ever needed. That's a bit late by Richarlison. How many drinks did you have before the prediction video, says Philip? I'd only had a couple, but I hadn't had any breakfast. And basically, all I was saying is that the Leeds manager should get the sack. I think the Leeds manager might be the first person to get sacked because they tried to sack him at the end of the season, didn't they? And I couldn't remember his name. So Patrick Bamford slipped out. And then I sort of went with it while I tried to remember what the real name was. Cut back by Spurs, cleared away. This game needs a goal, everybody. This game needs a goal. Mr. Chris Woods TV, thanks for the follow. Give us your top 3 supermarkets. It's big up M&S, says Tom. I think supermarkets are always really subjective in relation to... Bang! Block. Kudos with the shot. Blocked by Marquinhos. Mark, would Mason be a good signing for Burnley, Sunderland or Leeds, even Brentford? He's still a very good player who can get you 10 to 15 Premier League goals, says Owen. I think if you're talking about Mason Greenwood, he will be doing better than Burnley, Sunderland or Leeds. I mean, he'll end up at a decent club. Definitely. I forgot about this game. I was busy playing COD, says Send. Yeah, you're not missing a lot. I mean, the game needs a goal. Spurs have done quite well. Can you say hi to Finley, Joe, and Grace? Says Half Pint. Hello to Finley, Joe, and Grace. Thanks for watching. Jed Spence is an underrated player, says Kieran. I think he's underrated, but I think he's another player that probably needs to sort out his consistency. Seems to have concentration issues. Again, maybe it's personality, I don't know. But he's a good player, but he just seems ridiculously inconsistent. So I agree with you. Back to the supermarkets, Tom. I think that, yeah, it just depends what your closest supermarket is. Like for me, at my last house, my closest supermarket was probably Aldi and Tesco. Whereas now it's Sainsbury's. So that's where I shop. Put it this way. If I've got a Tesco half a mile down the road, I'm not going to go to a Sainsbury's 5 miles away. I'll just use the Tesco. United versus Chelsea, easy. Pep was just Klopp's owner, says Larry. Another good cross. Terrible shot. Dembele. You're not going to win a Ballon d'Or with shots like that. I mean, really, he should do better. In the box, on his left foot, on the bounce, over the bar. I can't give you an FPL code, Super. I'm not in one at the moment. A fairly equal game. Hope Spurs win. As a Liverpool fan, I'm supporting the Brits, says Jimmy. Kicking it with Cade. Thanks for subscribing to Prime. Remember, you can do that for free on Twitch if you use the link and you've got an Amazon Prime account. Mark uses a personal shopper. He bloody doesn't. Bloody doesn't. This is at the Udinese Stadium, Jir. United lost 14 games without scoring a goal last season. I hope the new front three would compensate for that this season. What's your opinion, Mark, says Rahul. Yeah, we'll definitely do better. We'll definitely do better this season. The question I think every United fan is asking is how much better? I mean, look, Newcastle lost 12 games and finished 5th. So losing 12 games isn't the end of the world. But, I mean, well, it's not great, but you can still finish 5th. Bazin says, when you encourage people to subscribe on Twitch, you should also remind them that a sub gets rid of all the ads. I didn't know that. I did not know that. If Bazin's right or wrong, I don't know. Cross comes into the box. Edge of the box. Zaire Emery. Hakimi went for a shot. Goes for a throw-in. Yeah, they've not been their fluid best, PSG, here. But it is early season. How do you think Wirtz is going to do in the Premier League, says Harvey? My honest assessment of Wirtz is that I really like his... he is right. If you subscribe on Twitch, you don't get any ads, according to Palmel and Z4, S4. I forgot what I was talking about before now. Oh, yeah, I was talking about the... no, I can't remember what I was talking about. Wirtz. Yeah, I was talking about Wirtz. Yeah, the thing I like about Wirtz is I like his centre of gravity. I think he's got a really good relationship with the ground, which sounds stupid, but what I mean is, like, some players look a little bit awkward on the ball. He's got a good point, good balance. He's got a lovely first touch, and I think in the Premier League, because it's so quick, I think a good first touch and good balance on the ball is going to help him massively in this league. So look. I was talking to somebody about this the other day about Man United. They were saying with your signings, they're not a United fan, they were saying with your signings, I can see you getting top 4. And I said, no, I think that's ridiculous, because if we got top 4, I'll take it. But you can't just buy players and go, right, from day one, here we go. It's like employing somebody into your business because they do a good interview. Great save, Chevalier, but he can't save that! And it's Van der Ven! And it's 1-0 to Spurs! And they've forced it into the back of the goal. And Spurs lead against the champions of Europe in Italy. And it's Van der Ven. Bellissimo. That's a goal. Well, Chevalier made a very good save onto the bar. But there was no problems for Spurs players to anticipate. A long ball. Could be an offside. Doubt it. Hope not. Yeah, up they go. Little bit of a lucky deflection, but look, Van der Ven reacts quick. Marquinez, there won't be a foul there. I think it was Paulinho who got the shot off. Great save by Chevalier, but Van der Ven is there to make it 1-0. You can't argue with that. Game on. I said this game needed a goal. It's got a goal. It's got a goal, and it's a Spurs goal. Well, I wouldn't say thoroughly deserved, but I think we deserved a goal. Van der Ven, if he can stay fit, one of the best defenders in the Prem. Frank says PSG have only got a starting 11, no one else really. I think also for PSG, it's a little bit like Liverpool on Sunday. I know Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones are rated, but they're not McAllister and Gravenberch. And this midfield three that PSG are playing hasn't got Ruiz or Neves in it. And that's, you know, games are won and lost in the midfield. Is it good for the EPL if Spurs win this, says J. Dot? I don't think it makes a massive amount of difference. But Noz says, I'm not a huge Tottenham fan, but I absolutely love Van der Ven. United could have been in this. Instead, find out a way to Grimsby in the Crap Cup. Slightly depressing as a United fan. However, we would have lost this, I think, says Chris. Like, mate, there's no complaints. There's no complaints. I mean, it was embarrassing to lose to Spurs because who loses to Spurs in a cup final? But they thoroughly deserved to win it. We were absolute shit. I mean, we lost to a club that sacked their manager for winning it. You know, it was rubbish. Thank you, Chris. PSG, I've done that from Frank. Here we go, he's coming, says Romano 9 minutes ago, says Connor. I think he's done it, hasn't he? Leone. Can you ask Kezi if she's played the game, says Chris. Kezi, have you played the game, says Chris, or Christ follower. Yeah, anyway, going back to the question from Harvey, I think Wirtz will do well in the Prem. Brad says Grimsby are far from flat. United are toast. Says GT. Says Brad's GTFC. Let's have a little look at let's have a little look at Grimsby. I mean, I don't know what league you're in for a start, so I'm going to say League 2. Yeah, I'm right. You're not in League 1. So League 2 is the flirter with the Grimsby are in 5th place in League 2. They're in the same league as Salford. They've won 1, they've lost and drawn 1. That's about as much as I know about Grimsby. Where do I think Donnarumma will go? Says Noz. Well, it sounds like Man City, doesn't it? But Mark, Kudos and Sarr have been fantastic so far, says Sanya. I think Sarr's been my man of the match. Yeah, he's played really well. They've also got Bergvall. I really like Bergvall. Kulusevski. That's what I say. I think somebody said, like, who's your black horse of the season? I mean, I've never heard that statement before. When I hear the statement black horse, I think about Lloyd's Bank. But the dark horse, Kudos, lovely play across the back post. The dark horse could be Spurs. I mean, I feel that 5th place is Newcastle, but could be Spurs. Yeah, Kean the Boss 287 says, who is your black horse of the season, Mark? So, yeah, my dark horse of the season is going to be Spurs. I rate Thomas Frank. And they have got some players. Scrog says, I love the look of Kudos, real live wire and keeps attacks alive. He was a good player at West Ham. It's just West Ham weren't very good. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. Appreciate it. Cross comes in. We are live on Friday nights. Yes, it's sport. So the plan for the weekend, opening weekend of the Premier League, looks like this. Hold on. Spurs are winning a lot of 50-50s in the box. And hit the post. Oh, Kudos. Richarlison wins the header. Kudos gets on the end of it. And it hits the post. Could have been 2-0. Almost 2-0. PSG are struggling. They're struggling here. They are struggling. There's no lie about it. I think PSG are struggling. I don't think it's anything to do with Donnarumma. I think it's because they're midfield. This is always going to be the problem for PSG, though. Chelsea sort of did it in the final as well, didn't they? Very, very good style of system, but have they been figured out? I loved the way PSG played last year, but there was a surprise element to it. Have they been figured out? Are certain teams able to play against PSG? Look, maybe it works against Liverpool because Liverpool won't park the bus and counter, but Chelsea will, Spurs will, and it's worked. As Stuart says, Frank has played a blinder so far with his tactics. 1-0 at half-time to Spurs. Get your questions in. Charlie says, are you doing a Wolves-Man City watch-along? I try to steer clear of Man City because if I watch Man City, then and they play well, it's really horrible to watch. So I'd rather miss it, and if they lose, great. I'll do a match reaction saying Man City in crisis. No, my plans for the weekend are 48 hours from now. It will be half-time at Anfield. We are going to be live for Liverpool versus Bournemouth at 8 o'clock on Friday night. We're also going to do Villa against Newcastle at 12:30 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, on the United stands, Manchester United against Arsenal. So a threesome to get you excited, that's for sure. Lovely stuff. No Bro YouTube says, look at the pattern. Crystal Palace won their first trophy in 144 years. And then one other one you have the opportunity to win now. Spurs will do it too, says Ron. Thank you very much for that. So Spurs will win the European Super Cup before Arsenal. Arteta out. Dude has won nothing in the last 5 years, says Rub. I tell you what, there's a question for you. Who do you think's going to be the big casualty of the season? Because there will be one. It's impossible for Manchester United, Newcastle, Spurs, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal. You can't all have a good season. It's literally impossible. And you know, we have a top 7 now. It used to be the top 6, but I think we have a top 7 now with Newcastle. So one of those clubs, maybe 2 of those clubs, maybe 3 of those clubs are going to have a bad season. I reckon now it's really difficult to predict who that's going to be. But it's impossible for them all to have a good season. So But one of them will. I mean, I'd say it's very unlikely to be Liverpool. It could be Arsenal, but I think Arsenal have been ridiculously consistent over the last 3 years, and I think Gyökeres will be a revelation. Man City, unlikely to do 2 years in a row. Chelsea seem to be on the up. Newcastle are always written off, and Eddie Howe always does a good job. Spurs look like they've got some stability with Thomas Frank, and Man United can't be as bad as they were last year. So I think it's hard to predict out of the top 7 who's going to have a bad season. But this is the great thing about before a ball is kicked. Everybody's positive. After 6 games, somebody will have had a shit start, and the pressure will be on. Because the press love that. Ricky Granger says, poured beer over my garden before planting the lawn. I hope the grass would come up half cut. Love your work. United stand all the way. Forever a member, says Ricky. Thank you very much. They will go straight for Amorim, says Alan Noonan. Oh, 100%, yeah. Yeah, the press will do that. Thomas Frank masterclass or just a new manager bounce, says DV. No, I think with Thomas Frank, what we're looking at is a coach who has a distinctive style of play. And I think if he gets player buy-in, he won't fail. It's just about how entertaining it's going to be for Spurs fans and how high he can take them. So I think he's, well, as Trill says, he's a pragmatic coach who works on... He's almost like a modern-day Pulis, Sam Allardyce, etc. And I'm not saying he plays the same way, but in a modernistic way, so's Glasner at Crystal Palace. Like, they are the modern-day Pulis and Allardyce because they defend ridiculously well. They're not massively bothered about having 40 or 30% possession, but when they attack, they're very, very efficient. And we saw that with Ivan Toney, and we saw it with Wizza and Mbeumo last year. So I think if Thomas Frank can get the buy-in from the players, and that's a big thing to get from Spurs, because as we know, they are light switch players, then it could be a very interesting period for Tottenham. And of course, he is already in the Champions League, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they do. I think it's going to be a really good year in Europe for English clubs. I think Aston Villa will win the Europa League. I mean, Nottingham Forest are in the Europa League. They might do quite well. I don't know how you juggle both, but they might do well. I've never had any problems juggling both. But the point is, when I was playing FIFA, you're filthy. What are you talking about? We're a football channel. I was talking about when I was bloody playing FIFA, when I was in Europe and the league. But yeah, Spurs have got European football as well. They've got a good squad. They really have. Abbas on Twitch, thank you very much. Remember, if you want to subscribe for free, you can do it through Amazon Prime. The link is in the live chat there for you, and it will remove ads, apparently. I hate to say it, but I think Tottenham are going to win, says your boy. What are the top 5 leagues at the moment and why, says Jordan? Well, Saudi's definitely not in it. I mean, the Brazilian league is better than the Saudi league. So the top 5 leagues at the moment are the Premier League in number 1 by a very long way. I would say La Liga number 2, the Italian league or the Bundesliga in 3, which leaves 1 spot. I'd still say the French league is ahead of Saudi. Yeah. Joey's Hideout says Arteta's being outperformed by Frank in match 7. Ewan says, I've just joined my first fantasy league this year and called my team Goldbridge's Gobblers. In your honour, I'm a turkey farmer. They're just making nasty comments to me how best to handle it. Well, you chose the name, Ewan. You've got to live with it. Sekou Koni's been taken to hospital with a bad head injury, says Tyler Richardson. Well, thoughts and prayers with him then. I hadn't heard that, but hopefully he'll be okay. Have you watched any Alien Earth yet, Mark, says Steve Woodley? No, I don't even know what it is. It's a television series. Why have I never heard of this? Where do you even watch it? I don't know where you watch it. I can't even see where you watch it. Disney. It's on Disney Plus. Okay. I'll take a look at that because I do like Aliens. Weary Cloud. Yes, I do. It looks like England are going to have another really talented squad in the next couple of years, says AJ Ginge. Thank you very much. Grimsby was the biggest fishing port in the world, says Ollie. I told you, get nice fish and chips at Grimsby. I'm still not convinced about Chelsea. United have got to take advantage of one game a week, says Ty. Hope so. What happens if Nottingham Forest win the Europa but got relegated? I love these types of questions, Daniel, because you know what happens if you get relegated but you win the Europa League? You go into the Champions League and you play in the Championship. It's like when Wigan won the FA Cup and got relegated. You play in the Europa League whilst you're in the Champions League, Championship. Yeah, it's not that deep, really. It's not that deep. What have PSG got to do to get back in the game? Score a goal. You won't get that sort of analysis on the mainstream. No, I think PSG, I don't know what the issue is with João Neves, but it's did you hear? Oh, here's a bit of an update. Richard Masters, the Premier League, saying that they're unable to speed up the investigation into Man City for alleged financial breaches. A lot of people are saying, well, why did you do it with Everton and Forest? A lot of people are saying if it was a smaller club, you'd have done it ages ago. To be honest, I wouldn't say I've lost interest. I'd just say we were lied to. We were told we were going to get something at the start of the year, and we haven't. So I think people just lose interest in it, don't they? Yeah. Do you think Man United will get Belabor? I do. I mean, I keep saying to everybody I think we will, because I think, to be honest, why would you even approach? I mean, look, if I was Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester United, and I want Belabor, and I speak to Belabor, and he says I want to come to you, you'd have to be a bloody idiot to not think that you've got to pay £100 million. Like, you'd have to be a bloody idiot. Neves missed because he got a red card from the Club World Cup, and Ruiz is obviously on the bench. Fair play. Thank you very much for the update there. This Kone injury for Man United, he's a young 17-year-old. And apparently he's had a bad head injury in a game. Look, he's in the right place, isn't he? He's at hospital, and fingers crossed it's not going to be anything too serious. There. Thank you very much. City case becoming the Epstein files of football, says Dan Elias. I think the Premier League might be won with 80 points this season if United and Spurs are not going to give away easy points, says Suleiman. I've done my Premier League predictions. I stand by them. Chelsea in fourth, Man City in third, Liverpool in second, Arsenal in first. Golden Boot winner, Gyökeres. Player of the Year, Salah. Champions League winner, Liverpool. They're my big headlines. It's hard. Not because I'm excited. I'm just saying it's hard to predict this year. As I said, Liverpool are the title holders and they've had the best summer. So if you go for Liverpool, definitely I understand it. But I think Arsenal, this is their year. Like, you can't be second year after year after year. At some point, what people don't understand is when you win the league 2 or 3 years in a row, it will come to an end. So when you come second 2 or 3 years in a row, it will come to an end. So Arsenal need to win it this year, because if they come second again, they're going to look back on this period of time and go, we finished second 4 years in a row and we didn't win it. They have to win it. I'm not saying if they don't win it, then Arteta needs to get the sack, but I think that, you know, they've got to go out there and win it this year. But it's a hard league to pick. I mean, I wouldn't rule out Chelsea as an outsider, and I certainly wouldn't rule out Manchester City because they've done it before. You know? Relegation, I'm going with 3 up, 3 down again, but Sunderland have bought a lot of players. They're the ones to watch. Really surprised how Sunderland have basically outspent Leeds and Burnley. So Brentford might be a little bit vulnerable. What about a Liverpool treble? Says 10. I think the treble is very, very difficult to do. And I think if you're going to do it, you've got to do it in a weak league when you're strong, like Man City did. So I think it looks like it's going to be way too competitive this year to be doing anything like that. But I do think that the English clubs are going to do really well in Europe. As I said, Aston Villa, I fancy for the Europa League. And in the Champions League, I actually think, considering only the top 8 go through automatically, I reckon there might be 5 English clubs in the top 8. Imagine if we get all 6. But I think all English clubs will go through to the knockout stage beyond the playoff. So even if a couple of them finish in the top 24, I still think that we'll end up with, after the playoff round, 6 clubs in the final 16. I think we're going to do really well. Really well. I think the Premier League's never been so strong. And, I mean, if Spurs and Man United can get to the final of the Europa League and play shit in the Premier League, it just shows you the strength of the Premier League this year. I think it's going to be very good. Very, very good. Is Spurs signing Eze and Savinho and Romero, Van der Ven at the back, with Kulusevski, Palhinha, Bantanka, Solanke, Porro, people sleeping on Spurs? I agree, Tom. I think with Spurs, the big thing is just how well they adapt week in, week out to Thomas Frank. Because if they do adapt well week in, week out, they've got an amazing squad and they could do really, really well. Get well soon, Sekou Kone, says Matthew. Lovely message. Yeah, hopes and prayers with that. Ruben might not be bringing in more Sporting players because he's looking for players with a similar profile that are Premier League proven. There might be less of an adjustment period and perform immediately, says Luca. Thank you very much. I mean, look, Savinho would be a very good signing for Spurs. I think he looks like a really good player at City, but as we know with Grealish and Doku and every other bloody winger, Pep doesn't seem to know what to do with them. So, yeah, that would be interesting. Eze. I mean, to be honest with you, looking at Spurs, I don't know. I feel like they need a striker. Yeah? Daniel, I'm just going to block you. Got no idea what you're talking about, but you're not saying that about me. Do one. Mark, will you ever do predictions for EFL leagues? Says AJ Ginge. Probably not. Probably not. Paul Muzz says it's between Liverpool and City for me. Players just coming out onto the pitch. Palhinha is a lovely player. Liam says, watch Palhinha, he's balling this half. I think he's a brilliant player anyway. I really liked him at Fulham. I think that Fulham, I think he could have played at a higher level than Fulham, with all due respect. I know he's like touching 30 now and he's coming to Spurs, which is great, but I genuinely think when he was 26, he could have played. Luke Dial says, I watch all top 5 leagues and I'm worried for the rest of Europe as they may never be able to compete with the Premier League anymore. Luke, look, one of the leagues I've always monitored highlights. It's harder now. I don't know. I've said this before about 2025. It amazes me that TV, film, music is not as good as it was. But also, football coverage is not as good as it was. There used to be a time before COVID where I could watch a weekly highlights program for every league easily. And it's not as easy now. But one league I really do like I mean, I've always liked the Italian league. I mean, you know, I'm in love with the Italian league because of Channel 4 and Italia 90. I've always kept an eye on the Italian league. But the Bundesliga is a really good league for... I know Bayern Munich win it most years, but it's a good league for talent. There's a lot of good players that start out in the Bundesliga. And I agree with you, Luke. When you look at this season, the Bundesliga has been, you know, a lot of players have been taken from the Bundesliga into the Prem. Here's Richarlison. Good shot. Cleared away. Mark, I'm not that familiar with Man United journalists. Can Ross Harwood be trusted? He said that Højlund to Milan is a done deal. Well, I can tell you for a fact. And you know why I know it's not a done deal. And also, I don't know who that person is. So, not reliable and definitely not telling the truth. Probably guessing, hoping that it happens, but definitely not close and definitely not done. Breaking, Goldbridge calls Wirtz a ground what? Do you think PSG struggle against teams that play long ball with physical forwards? Struggled against Villa, Chelsea and now Spurs. GJ, I'll answer the part of the question that I didn't understand. Charlie says that kickoff from PSG is utter woke nonsense. I think PSG do struggle. Oh my God. Get Donnarumma back in goal now. What a cock up. What an absolute prat. He's got olive oil on his hands. Chevalier. Oh, Donnarumma will be jumping around with a very excited face. That was absolutely a nightmare. That was absolutely disaster. I'm rubbing my eyes. Is it an honouring goal? Because that is rubbish by Chevalier. Absolutely terrible. I mean, I saved that. I legitimately saved that. It's crap goalkeeping. So basically, Romero's headed it down from the edge of the 6-yard box at an angle. And what he's tried to do is, as it's bouncing up, is flip it over the bar with two hands. And he's got olive oil on his hands. And it's gone in. It's crap goalkeeping, that is. And you know what? Isn't it funny how in football these things tend to happen? You high profile kick out Donnarumma and the replacement makes an absolute clanger. But beyond that, let's not forget, Spurs are winning. I've played the game. Spurs are winning here. They're 2-0 up. Well, yeah, it's a keeping error. They do happen. They do happen. But an absolute stinker of a mistake there. No two ways about it. Spurs. Well, it's good for the Prem. It's a good message. I mean, Chelsea did it. And now Spurs are doing it. But yeah, we were talking about this a moment ago. And look at the goal. It's a classic. It's a classic Brentford goal, really, set piece. But I do think that they struggle with physicality and teams that counter them. 5 Kian, thanks for subscribing with Prime on Twitch. You can do that for free if you use the link that's pinned in the chats and you've got an Amazon Prime account. That's a lovely cross by Donnarumma, but it's going to be a free kick as well. Kieran says Donnarumma's laughing right now. Oh yeah, he'd be laughing his head off. Be laughing his head off. "1920 Liverpool and Bayern would thrash this PSG side," says Sam. Mark, United versus Grimsby in FL Cup Round 2, says Chandler Chucky. What are your thoughts? I'm looking forward to it, mate. You know, I think you've got to embrace it, haven't you? I mean, it was bad enough not being in Europe, and then somebody said, you do realise you've got to play in the crap round of the Carabao Cup. And I said, what is this wizardry? And I said, they said, yeah, if you finish in the bottom half of the Prem, you go into the Carabao Cup a round early. And then I just thought, you know what? We're shit. And actually, if we pick a strong team, it's another game to get your rhythm up, isn't it? Because I think we've got to get our rhythm up. As I was saying before, you know, when you buy new players or you get a new manager, you've got to give them time. If you were employing a really good person for your business because they did a good interview, would you expect them to come in day one, know everything and work really well? No, you're buying them because they're good, and when they get to know things, they're going to be better than what you've got. And I think that's the same with any new signing. You know, Liverpool are going to have it with Wirtz and Ekitike and Frimpong and Kirkez. United are going to have it with Cunha and Mbeumo and Šeško. I think there is an adjustment period. I personally think the Premier League's a little bit shit for the first couple of weeks as well, because nobody hits the ground running, and that's why you can get good results. People are looking at Arsenal against United on Sunday and they're going, oh, Arsenal are going to smack Man United up. Well, maybe they should on paper, but it's the opening game of the weekend at Old Trafford on a hot day in front of 75,000 people. You can catch teams out. You can catch them cold. I think United will get a result against Arsenal. Not because we'll finish better than Arsenal. I thought he'd scored again. Another header on the back post. Danzo this time. Keeper looks like he's all over the place. He's like a towel in the wind. Like a candle in the wind. Oh, he had that one covered, to be fair. Lewis says it's good that Man United are not in Europe. They can concentrate domestically. Well, we should get a good sort of... Too easy says Cal the Dragon or Chevalier. We should get a good last sort of 40 minutes now because PSG are going to have to go for it. Yellow card here, Richarlison. One moment, I've just realised something. I just had to ask a very, very important question. You don't know what you don't want to know what it was, but it was really boring. It was basically, have we got any Galaxy hot chocolate? I just feel like tonight there's something I want to watch on the telly tonight, and you know, like you can watch telly in bed, and I quite like that. But tonight, I just thought, you know what? After this, unless there's not any breaking news, I just want to sit and go and watch it in the living room with a lovely cup of hot chocolate Galaxy. But then I had this horrible thought. I don't know whether we've got any. We do. We do. Alien Earth is out today. It says, I'm going to have to watch this. I hadn't heard about it. I'm going to have to watch it. Sounds interesting. My favourite film was Aliens. I just loved the Marines in it. I even built a Lego version of the Marines combat vehicle. And then I had a game called Space Crusade that had these alien things in it. So I used to use them. Oh, the fun I used to have. Good play down the left-hand side. But Spurs are defending well. I'll tell you what, if you're Thomas Frank, you'd be very happy with the work rate of these players. They're clearly playing for him early on. Should be... I mean, I was looking at... Tottenham. Tottenham's opening few fixtures. And Burnley at home, City away, Bournemouth at home. So, you know what? I do wonder, the way they play, could they go to City? Is this a good sort of thing for that? Slick says, have you reacted to Rashford's interview? I mean, I haven't seen all of it, but I do agree with him about United, you know, talking about transition but never ever going through it. What's your sleep schedule like, says Yahya. Well, I wear a Whoop, so I could literally tell you. My sleep schedule is normally quite good. I'm one of those people who basically can sleep too much. It's bad for me to sleep too much. I think I operate best with about 7 hours sleep. Kim Min-jae should come to Man United, says Lewis Park. I don't think Man United need another centre-back. Chelsea might ease to the title at this rate, says CFC. Oh, good interception by Sarr. Looked like there was a foul there. He's going to have to book him. Yellow card, yeah. Pacho. They're struggling a bit, aren't they? I've been very impressed with Spurs. I know that's not a fashionable thing to say, but I did say when they got Thomas Frank, he deserved a big job. You know, he's very effective. Apparently, Romero's never lost a final. That's coming in from Hadi. Lack says, do you think it could be a case of PSG players being exhausted? They've not had much of a break. They did play in the Club World Cup in the final, which was... I mean, that's a great point. I mean, they played... they played that final. When was that final? 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago, after a season that started in August last year. They don't have a particularly deep squad. Yeah, it could become a problem for them. Have you ever like? No, I'm not going to say it. Oh God, here we go. It's gone down. No, because if I say it, it sounds really bad. Basically, I took the dog out for a walk today with Seb, and we were walking across some fields, and I had my sunglasses on, so my perception wasn't that great as we walked under a tree, and there was a branch that I didn't see, and it caught me on the top of their head, and I basically did simulation. I went down holding my head like that, and Seb was like, "What are you doing?" And I sort of thought to myself, yeah, what am I doing? Like, there's no VAR here. And I was slightly ashamed. I mean, it didn't hurt at all. I just sort of like went, oh, down like that. Like, down onto my knees was like that. And I thought, what's all that about? Neymar impression versus a tree. Well, I always was a little bit of a simulator when I played the game. Because it's an advantage, isn't it? I've always been like that. When I used to play living room football on my own, you know, if you stub your toe, I'd be rolling around for, you know, I'd be rolling around for a few minutes. There's no one there. You're on your own. I don't know what I'm waiting for. A red card for the bloody coffee table. I don't know what it, you know, I don't know. We interpret what we watch, says hello, yes. I don't see a way back for PSG. I know there's half an hour to go. I don't think there will be a way back. I think Spurs are defending way too well here. United match abandoned after Kone head injury, says Spalzo. Yeah, I read about that. I think it's... Well, look, hopefully he's going to be okay. Sometimes we forget that football is a physical game. And look what happened to Musiala in the Club World Cup. Someone just said, why is Sergio Busquets refereeing this game? Magic Mark says, do you think the Euro has the potential to be the best centre-back in the world in a few years? I definitely think he's an incredible talent. I think that's why Real Madrid were looking at him as well. But there's so many factors to that, isn't there? I don't like to do that. I don't like to do that because I've seen Gascoigne was the first one, and he's going to be the player that wins as the World Cup after Italia 90. I always think, how old was Gascoigne in Italia 90 actually? It's a good question. But then, a year later he knackers his knee up and he never recovers. So Gascoigne is 67. He was 23 at Italia 90. So injury can play a part, attitude can play a part, bad luck can play a part, who you're playing with. He's got a score there. Good block. Good defending by Spurs. It was offside anyway. It's offside anyway. He was born in 67, sorry. So he was 23 in 1990. Good evening, Mark. How can we ignore the goalkeeping situation at Manchester United, says Beeks. It's the one position you can't change if he plays bad, and you know he will, from Lou. Thank you very much, Lou. Leper says PSG basically have post-Christmas off anyway. No sympathy. Yeah, they do have it very easy in their league. Arturo says, you think PSG playing a total of 65 games last season plus the Club World Cup with only having 4 weeks off rest is a big factor why they haven't looked good today? Well, I think their system is... It's not just physically tired as well, it's mentally tired. I think everybody needs a break, don't they? I mean, I think about some of the jobs I've had in my life, and you go and have that week or two in Tenerife or Mallorca, and by the end of it, you're ready to come home and start again. It's like Christmas, isn't it? Christmas, I think it's a great time of the year. But by the time you've had New Year's Day, you've had that week between Christmas and New Year, I am actually ready to stop drinking, stop eating, and get back to the grind. But if you don't get that rest, then you mentally and physically get tired. And also, PSG... Let's not forget, it's not just about tiredness. They've also achieved this thing that was really big for them to win they win the bloody league every year. It's like getting Lynx Africa from your aunt for Christmas. You get it every year. But the Champions League has been won. So, they've also got to deal with the mentality of going again. I'll never forget when Gaza flicked it over the Scotland defender and buried it. Fantastic goal, says Rudolph the Red. Yeah, that was 96. Euro 96. He was better than that as well. I mean, the Gaza that played post 91 was never as good. Good blocks. Goal, PSG. Is it an offside though? Yeah, another offside. They're doing better though, PSG. They are doing better, but it's offside. I mean, he's miles off. Yeah. Yeah, it's miles off. Miles off. Have you seen Oasis live, says the Hughes lad? I haven't seen them this time round, but I have seen them a couple of times back when, before the breakup in the early noughties. Bum, 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 bum. Barcola's coming off. Hey, it's another trophy for Spurs. I mean, what it's like they say, isn't it? You know, you wait for a bus for ages, and then 2 turn up at once. And look, this is a legitimate trophy. The Super Cup is a legitimate trophy. It's not a charity thing. It's not the bloody Snapdragon Cup. This is a legitimate trophy for Spurs. So, you know, respect it. It's got to send something. Kyle, yes, we've spoken about Coney's head injury a few times. Obviously, we'll wait for updates on that. With Palace winning trophies and Spurs as well, do you think big pressers on Arsenal this season? Says Swedish Home Gang. I don't think... I don't want to be blunt about this, but you know I will. If your mate is basically going out on regular dates with a 5 or a 6 out of 10, and you're hanging around with 9 out of 10s, and you know they hit first base before you, you're operating at a different level. Arsenal have been semi-final of the Champions League and second in the Premier League. Crystal Palace have won the FA Cup and Spurs have won the Europa League. So whilst Arsenal aren't winning trophies and they do need to win them, I think you've also got to also give appreciation to the reality of what Arsenal are trying to win, because they are on a different level. Now, the only thing I would say is that, look, Arsenal were in the FA Cup, but it's very difficult to win the FA Cup when you are into the latter stages of the Champions League and in a title race, technically. So it's a big season for Arsenal, but I wouldn't be that concerned about what Spurs and Crystal Palace are doing, because they're operating at a different level. But the flip side is banter in football is always a good thing, and so is rivalry. And as somebody in the chat says, I'd rather be poking something than nothing. Which, I didn't say that. You've used that. I was trying to be a little bit more subtle. I actually think that's going to do really well in the Arsenal community on TikTok. They'll love it. PSG literally solved Spurs. Know where their passes come to and from, says Neo. Martin says, I don't think PSG look fit yet. Mill says, I'd rather smash a 5 over getting friend-zoned by 9s after a month. Well, you know, that's why I think it's a big season for Arsenal, because they can't keep being in the friend zone. Lovely ball, PSG. Be good if they got a goal back. Oh, terrible shot by Dembele. Does the Snapdragon Cup put United in the Champions League, says Real? Hey, come on. Hi, Mark. Duos, I'm waiting in the lobby. Fortnite. Waiting a bloody long time for me to play Fortnite. Charity stream, maybe. Few substitutions here for Spurs. Solanke's coming on. Gray, Archie. Have you ever operated with nines, Mark? Says Tristan. It's subjective. I don't, you know, to be honest with you, I don't, for me, I felt they were, but I don't always. I don't conform to, I mean, look, what I'm trying to say is I've come across, not literally, plenty of nines in my life. That just sounds terrible. I don't mean like literally. I mean, I've come across plenty of attractive women in my life. And I find that, well, conventionally good looking, but personality ugly. Sense of humor robotic. So, you know, they've got to be the whole package, you know. And when I say come across, as I say, I don't mean in the literal sense. I mean like I've met and socialised with. What would you do if you come across a tiger? Says Ike Star. Wipe it off and run. Hilarious. Hilarious. Whatever happened to that Miley kid from Newcastle? Wasn't he supposed to be the next thing? He's still there, Ali. Good question, though. They used to say he was better than Mainu, didn't they? Brentford were difficult to break down last season. Now Spurs will be the same with an arguably better attack. Could go far up the table. Hope not, says Ollie. 1 minute. I can hear my bloody dog barking, which means he's out of the kitchen. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'll tell you what, don't worry, nothing, the stage isn't going to fall on me. Bloody hell. Oh, it's just panicking. I thought I was going to have to jump in a pond, which would have been stupid because it's tiny. Dog's bloody barking, not in the kitchen, outside. And my other dog, which really is old, I mean, it's sort of like deaf and partially blind. I can't see it in the garden anywhere. And the dog's been barking. And I'm like, she's trying to tell me something. She's like, Lassie. She's saying the old dogs fell in the pond. And I'm looking around the garden. I can't find the old dog. And I'm like, I ignored the barking for 10 minutes. So I'm like, I'm going to have to go in the pond. And then I'm like, you can't go in the bloody pond. It's about that deep and not very big. So I'm like, oh my God. The dog's drowned in the pond. How am I going to get it out? It's got all bloody algae in it. And I've got a stream to do. Do I wait till after the stream? Anyway, it comes pottering round from behind the bin. I said, what a prat. She didn't hear me and I brought her in. But I've had a sigh of relief. I've really thought she was in the pond. Because she has fell in it before. I was cutting the grass a couple of weeks ago and I heard a splash. And she's never fell in it before. And I grabbed her and pulled her out because she can swim. Even though she's deaf and dumb. Not dumb, blind. I got her out. Went back to cutting the grass and heard another splash and she fell in. Oh, I tell you what, that panicked me. That panicked me. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. Anto says a 6 out of 10 with good personality is better than a 9 out of 10 with no personality. Depends what you want to do with it. Really. You know, as my great granddad always said, you don't look at the mantelpiece when you're poking the fire. I actually do. Unconventional. Thank goodness the dog's okay, says Christine. Yeah. Yeah. I genuinely... You know, sometimes in life when things go bad, and they have gone bad, I really was. And the cat was in the garden as well. He was concerned, which I later realised he was just actually hungry because he's been out all day. Genuinely thought for a moment the cat's trying to tell me something and the dog's barking because it's trying to tell me something. Actually, the cat was just there because he was hungry and the dog was barking because the neighbours were putting their bins out. Tottenham tried to sacrifice your dog for this win, says Jacob. Now Luis Enrique Ball is dead, says Alberto. I don't think it is. I think PSG will be... Maybe they will be a one-hit wonder. I don't think they'll win the Champions League this year. I said that in my Premier League predictions. I don't think they'll win the Champions League this year, but I still think they're going to be a good team. They need to freshen up a bit, though. Because regardless of how well Spurs have played, and they have played very efficiently, PSG's final ball and shooting has been a bit shit. And they aren't necessarily their best midfield three. My mate fell off a cruise ship not long ago. He's a big fan. Can you shout out James? Cheers, pal, says Jack. I take it he got back on the cruise ship then, because if he's still in the sea, he's not going to hear it, is he? That sounds horrific. I don't like the idea of cruise ships. There's a Netflix documentary about it, isn't there, at the moment? Like this woman who went missing on a cruise ship a long time ago. Did you see Solanke and Danny Aarons play Fortnite, says Brand? I've definitely got better things to do with my life than watch Solanke and Danny Aarons play Fortnite. I mean, I'd rather watch Angry Ginge and Katie Price play chess. And I don't want to watch that either. I've got nothing against Danny Aarons or Solanke, but yeah, I do not want to watch them play Fortnite. Aaron, thank you very much. Welcome to the Members Club. Appreciate that. Please do subscribe if you are watching. RJ Pro 8686 has just done it as well. You're a legend, mate. Thanks for subscribing with Prime. Please do subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Daily content on here. And of course, we're back on Friday night with Liverpool against Bournemouth. The opening game of the Premier League season. And it's the title holders against Bournemouth. The decimated Bournemouth as well. Were you much of a raver back in the day, says CC? Nah, it wasn't my thing. Wasn't my thing. PSG only came back to training last week as well, says Nicola. Yeah, they're going to be bloody miles off. These are all relevant points. Are you any good at chess, says 5Kian? Yes. I said that with a lot of conviction, but I am a good chess player. But I mean, that's a very good point, isn't it? If PSG only came back training last week, Spurs have been training for over a month. So there will be a big fitness difference. And people say it doesn't make a difference. It bloody does. I remember Man United on US tours playing like Real Madrid and Barcelona, and we were way better than them. But they were like 2 weeks behind us on pre-season because their season starts after us. So I think PSG will still be a good team. But it's a great night for Spurs. And take nothing away from them, organisationally, very, very good. Scampy Fries says some great goals in the 3-3 game. Bolton against Sheffield Wednesday. Will Spurs sack Thomas Frank if he wins this cup, says Asher. And Zach says, what do you think about Calvert-Lewin at Leeds? I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm over the moon. Because he can't sign for Man United. Joe Wright says, fair play Spurs. A Super Cup and Europa puts Arteta to shame. Either win this season or get gone. No phase 5. No complaining in interviews, says Joe. Why did Porro go down there? Is it his shoulder? Unless he's broken his shoulder. Simon Thompson says, PSG didn't have a break. It was rest and go again. Mate, they played over 65 games. They played from August till mid-July. And you're basically saying, have a couple of weeks off and go again. Come on. Cato says Porro's just time wasting. What's your pick of the Premier League games at the weekend? Well, we're back on this channel, me and Robbie, doing Premier League predictions, and we've got a proper forfeit this year. So basically, he doesn't know the forfeit yet, but I'm saying each week we do Premier League predictions and you get a point for every correct result you get. Cleared away by Spurs. What I'm saying is, if I beat him, when the new Man United kit comes out next season, he's got to wear it and walk around Old Trafford, filmed by me. If he beats me, I've got to wear the new Arsenal kit and walk around the Emirates. I think that's a fair forfeit. And I'm up for it. So, that because I know I will win. And I think great to see Robbie walking around Old Trafford doing photos in a Man United kit. And trust me, the day he's going to do it, I will do a live stream on the United stand saying, get yourself down to Old Trafford. Lucas says, I love your streams except when Chelsea are playing United. Could you please do a poll between Mendes and Cucurella? Lucas, I will do it for you. I'm not sure it's going to go well, but I will do it for you. Cucurella or Mendes. What do you think of people who play referee simulator games? Yes, sadly, there are a thing. Also, thoughts on Blues promotion chances. Goldio, I legitimately know somebody, and I don't know whether they still do it. I classed them as a friend. Lovely cross, but headed away. Spurs have defended really well. They used to do goal, 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 and it's a good goal. Absolute banger. Vitinha. What a hit. Absolute rocket. Was it Vitinha? No, they're showing Vitinha. It was Kang In. Sorry. I've just literally mugged him off. He did run past Vitinha, and then they stayed on Vitinha. But it wasn't Vitinha. It was an absolute banger. Edge of the box. Vitinha plays it to him. One touch. Bang. Look, what a goal. What a goal. Well, we've got a little bit of excitement here. Mark, as an Arsenal fan, I'd rather this Spurs success than what we've done. It's just easy choice, says Joe Wright. Thank you very much, Joe. Come back incoming, says NK. Well, let's wait and see. Yeah, what I was going to say is, somebody was saying that there is a game called Referee Simulator. I should stream it. Football referee simulator. My God. There actually is a game called Referee Simulator. Why? Do these people not know about porn? Anyway, talking about that, I had a friend who used to play, and maybe still does, Flight Simulator. So you'd say to them, "We're going out on Friday night. Are you coming?" And he'd go, "No, I've got pilot duties." And we go, "You're not a pilot." And he'd go, "No, I've booked it into my schedule. I'm doing Heathrow to JFK." And we'd be like, "What?" And they go, "Yeah, no, I've been planning it for a couple of weeks, and it's the only time I can do it. It's a night flight. So takeoff is at 9 o'clock, and we'll be landing at, hopefully, around 3:30 a.m. We were like, "So let's get this right. We're going out to an actual pub, and you are going to stay at home in your room pretending to fly a plane on a flight simulator from Heathrow to JFK." Yeah. What actually happens? Well, you take off, and then you've just got to basically autopilot it for 6 hours. Please don't tell me you talk to the talk to the passengers. And at that point, I knew he did. He never confirmed it, but I knew he did because he hesitated. He went, and I just imagined him in his room going, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are 2 hours into our flight to JFK. Altitude is whatever. Expecting a little bit of turbulence on the about a couple of hours in. Karen is your chief steward today. She will be serving up all your dietary needs. I am your captain, James Stewart," and I've just given his name away. Yeah. There's a lot of James Stewarts living in Cropple Bishop, Nottingham. Look, if you do that, as Sheryl Crow once sang, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. But it's like that episode. Have you seen This Country? It's very good. They do that in that, don't they, as well? Anyway, back to the game. 2 minutes to go. He's gone down looking for a penalty. He's given a goal kick. I don't think it was a penalty. Dembele's going to get booked. Didn't look like a penalty. Palmerius, if you want to do it, I'll give it you, mate. You can have it. We have got Ethan. He's just not here tonight. We're only on our way back, so yeah. Bergval's coming back. Good player. I feel like I might have... I think I might have... Well, apparently there's a game called Lorry Simulator as well, where you do the same thing. You basically drive a lorry across America. Or England. Or England to France. I mean, I feel guilty if I play through a whole season of FIFA over a weekend. I feel like I've wasted it. But at least there'll be some goals and highlights and, you know, in my own head. But a flight simulator. Imagine the people who... Look, I didn't want to tell you this, but I later found out he regularly did Heathrow to Sydney. That's... You know... I think he was taking annual leave. Funny thing is, he never even went to be a pilot. Euro Truck Sim. There you go. Look, obviously it's got a market. Well done. Farm Simulator is the best, says Ike. It's good fun, but real life friends always better, says Captain Gummy. Yeah, I think for me it was the fact that he wouldn't come out. I'm a truck driver. I play Euro Truck Simulator. Go to game, says Solski. So you drive trucks in real life and then you play Euro Truck Simulator. It's like having a busman's holiday. American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator 2, they're actually quite relaxing. Unfortunately, the map isn't real life size like in Flight Sim, says Perk. Euro Truck Simulator. I'm just going to have a look at what it looks like. Because I always imagine like these really crap graphics. Oh no, the graphics look all right. Remember, I'm talking about not recently. I'm talking about on an Amiga. I'm not talking about PS5 graphics. I mean, imagine what this was like. Do we have That's Football or TOS FPL leagues, Anakush? No, I haven't done them this year. Who do you think will win each Europe trophy, says Ron. Well, you should watch my Premier League predictions video. Many have. Patrick Bamford. I predicted that Liverpool will win the Champions League and that Aston Villa will win the Europa League. Obviously, I don't give a shit about the Conference League, so I'll predict Crystal Palace. Charlie says, can remember the video you reacted to of the bloke who was in a relationship with a car? I'd like to do more of those. It's just a time thing. Can I sim as passenger on Captain Stewart's flight, says Shane O'Connell. Well, that's the funny thing. Like, there is a comedy called This Country in the UK, and she's about 19, and she goes round to her dad's house, and they spend the weekend as pilot and co-pilot flying from Heathrow to Singapore. Goal! 2-2 in the 3rd minute of stoppage. Do we get extra time? Or do we go straight to penalties? Spurs doing a Spursy thing here. It's Gonzalo Ramos. It's 2-2. And, well, PSG may be a tired team, but they are a level team. Does this go straight to penalties? It can't go to extra time. They can't be doing extra time at the start. No, seriously, they can't be going to extra time in a pre-season bloody friendly game. Well, no, it's not a pre-season friendly. Could be an element of offside here. What did I say? People write off PSG at their peril. It's a lovely cross by Dembele. It's a lovely finish by Ramos. Hakimi into Dembele. What a header. What a goal. 2-2. Well, there we go. I feel a bit bad for Spurs because they've ran a good race, but they've just sort of ran out of steam at the end. No, you would not want extra time. They've got to play against Burnley at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So close to another trophy as well. Tell, forgot about him. He's a good player as well. Crap ball by Spence. About a minute to go. Here's Hakimi. It's going to go for a throw-in. Wow. Odds we get flying with Goldbridge as Captain Gummy. It would be good fun. I mean, I'd do it as a one-off. I'd be a very good pilot. I'd tell you what, if you're on my flight, you get very bored, you get very annoyed very quickly because some pilot... Oh, that's a lovely ball. Ramos, good defending. Good defending. Is that Danzo? That's very good defending. I liked him in the Euros, actually. I can't remember whether he's Austrian or Swiss. I think he's Austrian. John Paul Gallagher says, one last push. Says, one last push, Spurs, says John Paul. You're not giving birth, mate. What did you think of TikTok, says AJG? Oh, I used to do live on TikTok. It's... Yeah, it's okay. I prefer YouTube. Twitch and YouTube, to be fair. Flight Sim actually has volunteer air traffic controllers to controlling the traffic. Why? Perk. Why? Like, what's going to happen if it doesn't go well? Oh, you've crashed. Wasn't real. They wouldn't want me on there taking it not seriously, would they? Air traffic control. We're getting a flash from air traffic control. Yeah. Pilot Goldbridge, you are meant to be on a flight from Heathrow to JFK. Why have you deviated towards Russia? For a laugh. You need to refuel. What happens if I don't? Well, you'll run out of fuel. Well, I'm going to land in Moscow. You are ruining the game. What are you going to do about it? Get the Air Force up. Shoot me down. See you in Strasbourg. War crimes. Flight Sim actually has... Yeah, okay, Perk. Thank you very much for that. A surprise does not surprise me. Wake Up Junior says, in your opinion, which player gave you the most enjoyment while watching? I think Sarr played very well for Spurs. Look, PSG are a fantastic side, full of fantastic players that we all know a lot about already. But I think whatever happens, Spurs will come out of this with credit. Ethan's in the chat, moderator there. He's got the link for Twitch subs if you want to do it through Amazon Prime. But I would say that, I mean, Sarr went off on the 90 minutes for Bergvall. I'd say probably Sarr was my man of the match. I wonder if this has got any battery on it. No, it's got nothing on it. Can't look at it. If you could take one player from each starting 11, who would you take, says Charlie? I think, well, thinking about what Man United need, well, I wouldn't take either bloody goalkeeper, to be honest. I think from PSG, I might be tempted to take Hakimi, you know. I really do like him. And I think from Spurs, Van der Ven. It's tell you what this is. This is an opportunity for Chevalier to redeem himself after a stupid goalkeeping error. So, look, it could come full circle. Donnarumma's probably there laughing about the mistake, but if he wins them a penalty shootout, he's the hero. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do that on YouTube. We've got nearly 19,000 of you watching for this penalty shootout, and we're only 10 subscribers away from 383,000. So thank you very much for tuning in, as always. Penalties about to be taken. Palmaria says, I'd probably take Vicario over Anana. I have modded you, Palmarius, so welcome to the club with Ethan. Penalties, here we go. Yeah, it was a crap keeping error by Chevalier. It's a big step up for him, though, isn't it? PSG from Lille. not just geographically. Mendes beat Cucurella 73% to 27%. I did warn the architect of that poll that it was probably going to go that way, but you know, some people are just very optimistic. You can't argue with that. Are you looking forward to the Premier League, Mark? There's a bear shit in the woods. I'm very excited about it. I think any fan of football is excited about the return of football. And I feel we've had a good break as well. I know the Club World Cup happened and there was a bit of international football, but I feel like we've had a break from the Prem. You know, I think sometimes you feel like it comes back too quick, but especially I think when there's been a World Cup or a Euros. But I feel well rested from the Premier League. I'm really, really excited to have it back, and I also think that there's a huge buzz around who could win the league. Solanke steps up first. One step, penalty taker. He's quite good at penalties. I'd back him to score this. And it was a good penalty. Put it high as well. Remember I spoke to you about this before. Anybody who's playing football at the weekend or a penalty taker, if you can figure out how to confidently put it high, keepers can't save it. They just can't get near it. It's so hard to get a penalty that's high. And that's exactly what Solanke did there. Buying Baleba and keeping an honour is like putting in a V12 engine and driving with no brakes. It's okay, Mark. I'll say it. He's dog shit, says Parker. Bleach says, I was unemployed for the whole off-season. No football that entire time was horrendous. New job on Monday. What's your job? I am excited for the World Cup, Ali. I think it's a bit big. Vitinha next against Vicario. Vicario looks big. Vitinha, he's watching though. He's all about the eyes. Lovely pen. Whoa, he's missed. Sent Vicario the wrong way and then misses the goal. My God. Never understand that. How do you miss the whole goal? I thought he'd scored. You know, when I just watched the goalkeeper. He sends the goalkeeper the wrong way and then misses the bloody goal. You do all that to get back into it. And as Sage says, what a shit penalty. Right. Bentancur. I think he'll blast this. I think he'll go high as well. It's going to go to the goalkeeper's right with height. Told you. I've played the game. I could tell by his... Ben Foster taught me this. You can figure out a lot of penalties by the way they stand. You could just tell he was going to hook that with height. Good penalty. Good penalty. It's back on, Tottenham. Silverware could be coming your way. Bentancur, says Nudge. Ramos next for PSG. Needs to score. And it's a good one again. Height. I think he went down the middle, didn't he? 2-1 on penalties. Tottenham step up for their third. Yeah, smashed it straight down the middle. Now taken out. I mean, that does work a lot of the time now. If you smash it with height down the middle, not a lot of goalkeepers just stand up. Oh, I wasn't looking. Van der Ven. Van der Ven. You know what? Statistically, I would love to know how many penalty shootouts are lost when you don't miss first. Momentum back with PSG now. Crap penalty by Van der Ven. Low, not near the corner. If you're going to go low, he should have gone the other way, because with a left-footed corner into that corner, you're always going to be too central because you're curling it that way. You should have curled it. It should have gone the other way. Dembele to level it up. 3-3. 2-2. Sorry. Third penalty. They both missed, but this is PSG's third penalty. Good penalty. Now taken out. 2 from 2 for both teams. Penalty 4. Tied it up, says Joseph B. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. Well, the funny thing is, we've only had one goalkeeper save, haven't we? Because it was a miss by Vitinha. So we're back level now. Up steps Tell. Or as he likes to be called, Terry. Tell you what, that Danzo's a good signing for Spurs. Very good signing. Here we go. Tell. Central run up. Moves to the right. Good penalty. Oh, he's done it as well. He's done it as well. It's literally Vitinha. How are they missing? You know what? I think they're focusing on the goalkeeper too much. I think they're doing it with their eyes, aren't they? He must be doing the keeper with his eyes. Yeah. It's Vitinha again. Spurs have bottled a 2-0 lead. And they're now bottling a lead in the penalties. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. But they have handed the initiative to the French champions and European champions. And it's Lee Kang-in stepping up. He scored a bloody good goal with his left foot. Now, what he should do is what Van de Ven didn't. He should go to the keeper's right. If you go to his left, the angle isn't as good. See, that's exactly what I meant. If you go that side, you're curling it in towards the goal. Whereas if you go the other way, like Van de Ven did, you're curling it centrally away. Good penalty. So that means Spurs have got to score, and then Vicaria's got to save the last one. Welcome to Tottenham, Thomas. They've tanked it. Thomas the Tank Engine. They've tanked this. It's a shame. I think Spurs look good, though. I do think they look good, and the Super Cup's not going to define them. Spurs need to score this to stay in it. It's Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro. Come on. Pedro Porro. Here he comes, Pedro Porro. He'll put it high. Oh, it's a lovely penalty. Porro. That's the best of the lot. The best of the lot. Lovely penalty. Yeah. Actually, it wasn't as much in the top corner as I thought, but you're not going to save that anyway. Very good. So, Vicario needs to save this to keep Spurs in it and take it to sudden death. Here he goes. Oh, what a penalty. What a penalty that was. You don't stay. Mendes, absolutely brilliant. Left-footed and high. You see, he went the same way as Van de Ven, but if you're going to do that, you've got to go high. You can't go low. When high, when low. That's what it comes down to. Left-footed penalty taker. One went high, scored. One went low, missed. Van de Ven. PSG, I tell you what. They've worked for that. And Spurs did make them work. They don't look, you know what? In fairness, Spurs were massive underdogs for this. And they actually did a very, very good job. And PSG had to really work hard to get back into it. So, as much as it will be to the delight of Arsenal fans to see Spurs bottling a final, I still think Spurs, under a new manager, can take a lot from that. And ultimately, this is not really going to define what they are. And I think PSG showed immense character to get back into that as well. And it was a penalty shootout. But it is over. It's 2-2 on aggregate, but they lose on penalties. Well done. Well done to them. Nemanja Savic says it takes a really special group of prats to lose a final to Spurs, which they didn't do. Sean Dunn says, did you know the Sue move was Michael Jackson who did it in a dance move? I didn't. Jokeres 2, thanks for subscribing on Twitch. You're an absolute legend. As are you all tonight. Just remember, our next watch-along is going to be PSG. No, it's not. It's going to be Liverpool against Bournemouth. 48 hours. Less than 48 hours now till the Premier League starts. We will be with you for a big weekend on That's Football. So make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Also, we're working on something really, really exciting. Again, we did a couple of things last year that were really cool. And we're already working on a few things for this year in the autumn. So keep an eye out on on That's Football. We're a great community and we're always trying to push barriers. So just keep yourself involved and subscribed. And I'll speak to you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Speak to you in a bit.